My beloved child, I remember every prayer you have lifted up in the darkest nights of your life. I remember the times you knelt down with a heart heavy with burden, speaking to me through tears until there were no words left to say. There were moments when all you could do was remain silent because your soul was too weary to keep asking. But my beloved child, that silence was never empty before me. I heard even the sighs your lips could not express. As Romans 8:26 says, the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. Not one of your tears has fallen without me remembering it. Not one night have you stayed awake in pain while I turned my face away. I have also seen the mornings when you woke up with an exhausted soul, when your heart no longer felt strong or full of hope, yet you still whispered, "Lord, I still believe in you, my beloved child." Those small words move heaven more than you know. True faith is not only praising when everything is going well. True faith is when your heart still turns back to me in the middle of weariness and disappointment. People may not see the battle you are going through, but I see it, and I have never forgotten a single moment of that journey. Now I am answering you, not with a great thunderclap, or with things that immediately astonish the world, but with the gentle breath of restoration beginning to touch your soul. Just as Elijah encountered me, not in the great wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper, I am drawing near to you. In the same way, there are miracles that do not begin with outward commotion. They begin with your heart slowly finding peace again, with the light of hope returning to the place where you once thought only darkness remained. My beloved child, true breakthrough is not only when circumstances change. Breakthrough is when the veil that once covered the eyes of your soul is lifted and you realize that I have never left you, not even for a moment. There were seasons when you thought you had been left behind in loneliness, but in truth, I was drawing you into a deeper place of intimacy with me. It was in the days when no one understood you that you learned to hear my voice more clearly. It was through the times you were wounded that I taught you to love with a softer heart instead of a more bitter one. And it is in the long seasons of waiting that I am causing your faith to take root deeper than your eyes can see. Do not think trials come to destroy you. If I had wanted to break you, I would not have kept you standing until this day. The trials you have passed through are like the fire that refines gold. Fire does not create gold. It only reveals the purity already within it. You are the same, my beloved child. There are things I placed within your soul long ago, but they needed to be refined through the painful journey so they could shine in the right way. As Job 23:10 says, "When he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold." Do not fear the fire of refinement, for I stand with you in it. Look at the seed lying beneath the ground. For many days, no one sees anything happening. Everything appears silent and meaningless. But beneath that dark layer of soil roots are quietly pushing deep. If the seed were to rise too soon before its roots were firm, the first wind would carry it away. That is why I allow it to remain in the darkness long enough for the life inside it to become stronger than anything outside could destroy. You are the same. The promises I have planted within you are not dead. They are taking root. What you call nothing is happening is often the very season in which heaven is preparing the foundation for the breakthrough ahead. Remember Job, my beloved child. There were times when he lost almost everything, his family, his possessions, his health, and his honor. Others looked at him and thought his life was over. But in the ashes of pain, he still held on to me with the little faith he had left. He said, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him." And after the season of testing, I restored him not only with what he had lost, but with twice as much. Do you see breakthrough does not come by avoiding pain? Many times it is born right in the midst of that pain. For only a soul that has passed through the fire knows how to treasure the light. I know there are times when you wonder why you have had to go through so much. But my beloved child, I did not allow those things to happen to make your life meaningless. I am creating within you a new capacity for my glory. If I gave you everything while your soul was still fragile, you would not be able to carry what I desire to give. So I use both tears and waiting to enlarge your heart. Do not look at the present and conclude that I have not acted. The roots of a tree do not appear above the ground, but they are still alive. Your breakthrough has already begun in places your eyes cannot yet see. Heaven is moving quietly around your life. There are doors I am preparing to open. There are chains I am weakening day by day. There are promises drawing closer to the moment of fulfillment. So today, my beloved child, continue to trust. Not because you see everything clearly, but because you know who I am. I am the one who does not break his promises. I am the one who does not forget the work my hands have begun. And a day will come when you look back on all those seasons of pain, those silent nights, and those tears that once fell. And you will realize that they were the very things that led you to the breakthrough I had prepared for you. A place where your soul is not only restored, but reflects my glory more powerfully than ever before. My beloved child, engrave this deep within your soul. I have never searched for flawless people to carry out my will. I do not choose people because they are more perfect than others, but because they are willing to open their hearts for me to touch. There are souls who appear very strong on the outside, yet inwardly remain close to my calling. And there are also people full of cracks, people who have stumbled and been broken, yet their hearts still know how to weep before me and say, "Father, please use me, my beloved child." Hearts like these often become the very places where my power is revealed most clearly. As 2 Corinthians 4:7 says, "We have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us." Look at the seed buried deep beneath the ground to human eyes. It seems to have disappeared into the darkness, buried and forgotten. But in that very darkness, life quietly begins. When light and water touch it at the right time, the seed rises, breaks through the heavy soil, and becomes a tree that bears fruit. You are the same, my beloved child. There are seasons when you think your life is nothing more than a field covered with pain and disappointment. You think your dreams have been buried forever, but I have never forgotten the seed I planted within you. What I placed in your soul cannot die, simply because the winter has lasted long. When my appointed time comes, life will rise from the place where you thought only ashes remained. I know there are days when you look back at the past and feel unworthy to be called by me. Old mistakes follow you like a shadow. You remember the times you were weak, the wrong decisions, the seasons when your life wandered off course. And then you wonder how I could still use someone like you. But my beloved child, the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. As Romans 11:29 says, "I do not withdraw my calling simply because you once stumbled. If that were so, no one would have hope. I knew every weakness in you before I called your name. And still, I chose to love you." Remember Peter, my beloved child. He denied me 3 times on the night I was arrested. He trembled in fear before the questioning of a servant girl. In the eyes of the world, that failure seemed far too great for someone called to be a disciple. But I did not allow his final mistake to define his life. After that breaking, I met him again by the seashore, not to condemn him, but to restore him. 3 times I asked him, "Do you love me?" And then I entrusted him once more with the mission of shepherding my flock. Do you see, my beloved child? I do not only forgive, I restore. I do not only heal wounds, I turn those wounds into places where my grace can be seen more clearly. There are souls I allow to pass through brokenness, not so they will be destroyed, but so they may become a source of healing for others. A mother who once cried herself empty through loss later becomes comforting arms for other grieving mothers. Someone who once sank deep into sin but was rescued by me becomes a voice leading others out of chains. A person who once lost everything they depended on rises again to testify that I alone am the foundation that never collapses. My beloved child, I can use the very thing that once hurt you the most to bring life to others. As 2 Corinthians 1:4 says, God comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort those in any trouble. Do not be ashamed of the cracks within your soul. The places where light passes through are often the places that were once broken. The world may look at your weakness and think it is a sign of failure. But I see the very place where my power will shine the brightest. When I use a life that was once shattered to bring hope to others, no one will be able to say it was the work of human strength. They will know it is the work of grace. I want you to stop living under the weight of condemnation. You are no longer a prisoner of your past. The blood of Christ is stronger than every mistake you have ever made. When I forgive, I do not keep old records to shame you forever. As Psalm 103:12 says, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. If I have released your past, why do you continue to hold on to it? My beloved child, do not think your weakness causes my plans to fail. It is often in the places where you think you are most fragile that I do my greatest works. Gideon once believed he was the least in his father's house, yet I used him to deliver an entire nation. David was only an unknown shepherd boy, yet I made him a king. Mary was only a young girl from a small village, yet I chose her to carry the Savior into the world. I do not need human perfection to perform miracles. I only need a heart willing to say, Father, let your will be done. So today, stop running from my calling. Stop believing that you must perfect yourself before coming near to me. It is when you come in the honesty of your weakness that I can clothe you with new strength from heaven. Let me restore you. Let me use your very life story as a lamp for souls who are lost. And then you will realize that the most beautiful thing I do is not hiding your old wounds, but turning them into living proof that my love can make broken things bloom again. My beloved child, let your heart rest in this truth. My choosing of you was never meant to be a burden placed upon your shoulders, but an invitation into everlasting love and eternal purpose. I did not call you to force you to prove your worth. I did not place a calling upon your life to make you live in fear or pressure. I called you because I love you. I desire for your life to become living proof that my love can restore what is broken, renew what has become dry, and bring light to souls who once believed they were surrounded only by darkness. As Jeremiah 31:3 says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. My beloved child, my choice did not begin with your ability, but with my heart. Therefore, do not walk with your head bowed as though you have been forgotten. Walk in the peace of a child who knows that their Father goes before them. No matter how small you may feel, remember that it was I who breathed my life into you. And within that breath is the imprint of heaven itself. When I created you, I did not create a meaningless soul in this vast world. I placed within you a unique light purpose and calling that no one else can replace. You may not yet fully see it, but heaven sees it. And what I placed within you is enough to make darkness retreat when you walk in my presence. But my beloved child, when you begin to realize that you are chosen, that is not the end. It is where the true journey begins. Many people think that being called by me means every road will become easy. Yet my calling often leads you through places where only faith can keep you standing. For when I call a soul, I also prepare that soul for something greater than themselves. When I give a mission, I also refine the heart, so it can carry what I entrust without losing humility and love. Look at Jacob, my beloved child. I called him and gave him a great promise. Yet before he could step into that destiny, he had to wrestle through the night beside the river Jabbok. It was there that I touched him, changed his name, and transformed his entire being. Do you see, my beloved child? A calling does not only change outward circumstances, it changes the soul itself. I do not only desire to use you for great works, I desire for you to become more like me through the journey. There will be times when I lead you into places where human understanding is no longer enough. You will stand before unopened doors, long seasons of waiting, and trials that make you wonder why I would allow such things to happen. Yet it is there that I am teaching you the most precious lesson of all, to trust me beyond what your eyes can see. As Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." True faith is not understanding everything before taking a step. True faith is knowing that I am still good, even when you do not yet understand what I am doing. Trusting me does not mean you will always feel strong. There will be days when your heart still trembles. There will be nights when you still ask me questions through tears. But faith is not measured by the absence of fear. It is measured by your willingness to keep walking toward me, even while your heart feels weak. Peter stepped out of the boat in the middle of the storm, not because the sea was calm, but because his eyes were fixed on me. And even when he began to sink because of fear, I still reached out my hand and held him. You are the same, my beloved child. I do not love you less simply because your faith sometimes wavers. What I desire is that you continue returning to me in every season of life. There are promises I have placed within your heart that still seem far away right now. There are prayers you have prayed for so long without yet seeing them fulfilled. But do not let delay make you doubt my faithfulness. Abraham waited many years before he saw Isaac. Joseph walked through prison before entering the palace. David was anointed king while still young, yet he spent years living among caves and being pursued. I am not delaying. I am building within you what is necessary so that when the season of promise arrives, you will be able to stand firmly within it. My beloved child, true faith is not built upon the results you desire, but upon who I am. If your faith only exists when everything goes well, it will easily collapse when storms come. But when you learn to hold on to me, because you know who I am, faithful, merciful, and never abandoning you, then even the strongest winds will not uproot the foundation of your soul. As Romans 17 says, the righteous shall live by faith, not by temporary emotions, but by deep trust in me. I know there are times when you want to see immediate results, so your heart can feel at peace, but many times I do not show you the entire journey beforehand, because I want you to learn how to walk with me day by day. A child does not need to understand every road their father takes. They only need to know that their father's hand is holding theirs. You are the same. When you do not understand, remember that I still love you. When you cannot yet see, remember that I am still working. When everything seems silent, remember that heaven has never stopped moving on your behalf. So today, continue walking in peace. Not a peace that comes from having every answer, but a peace that comes from knowing who is leading you. I am before you. I am working within you, and what I have begun will not stop halfway. One day, when you look back on every season of testing and waiting, you will understand that those difficult roads taught you the most precious truth of all that I have always been faithful. Even in the moments when you could not yet see my hand, my beloved child. I know there are seasons in your life when you walk through such long silence that your soul begins to wonder whether I am still listening at all. You pray, yet the heavens seem silent. You knock, yet everything around you appears unmoved. There are moments when you look at the closed doors before you and think you must have taken the wrong path, perhaps believing that I have forgotten you among the countless souls in this world. But my beloved child, do not fear my silence. It is often within the deepest silence that I do my greatest work within your soul. A seed does not sprout on the surface where everyone can see it. It moves quietly beneath the dark soil before life finally breaks forth. You are the same. What I am writing for your life in this season is deeper than what your eyes can presently understand. Do not try to understand everything before taking another step. If I showed you the entire journey from the beginning, perhaps you would lean on your own understanding instead of learning to hold tightly to my hand. So I am teaching you to walk without a map, relying only on my presence. As Psalm 32:8 says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye upon you. My beloved child, my eyes have never left you, not even for the briefest moment. Even when you feel lost, I know exactly where you are, and I know exactly where I am leading you. There are things I am teaching you that can only be engraved deeply through silence. I am teaching you to hear my voice in the midst of the countless noises of the world. The world tells you that you must run faster, become stronger, and control more in order not to be left behind. But I am drawing you away from that chaos to teach you a deeper truth. True strength does not come from forcing yourself to carry everything alone, but from learning how to rest in me. Remember Mary sitting at my feet, while Martha busied herself with many concerns. The world may call that stillness a delay, but I call it the better portion. For the soul is not healed through hurry. The soul is healed in my presence. My beloved child, do not be afraid if your steps are still slow and trembling. I do not require you to walk perfectly. I only desire for you to keep walking with me. A child learning to walk falls many times, yet the Father does not stop reaching out his hand to lift that child up. I am the same. Even when your faith feels fragile, I still see the beauty of trust within it. As Romans 1:17 says, the righteous shall live by faith, not by understanding everything completely, but by continuing to walk toward me, even without seeing the whole road ahead. Trust is the bridge between being chosen by me and being sent by me. Many people love hearing about their calling, yet they fear the bridge of faith. They want to see everything clearly before they take a step. But my beloved child, if you only move when everything is certain, you will never truly learn how to depend on me. When Peter stepped out of the boat into the raging sea, he had nothing except my words, "Come." And those words alone were enough to keep him standing upon the water. You are the same. There will be seasons when I give you no more than a single step of light ahead. But that one step is enough to lead you to the next if you continue trusting me. I know you have gone through many nights when you felt you no longer had the strength to stand. There are prayers you have repeated through tears again and again. There are days when you kept moving forward simply because you did not want to let go of my hand. My beloved child, none of it has been meaningless. Heaven has heard every sigh of your soul. The tears you have shed have not been forgotten. They have become an echo before my throne. As Psalm 126:5 says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy." Every time you choose to rise again, even while your heart is weary, you are planting seeds for the season of breakthrough I have prepared for you. And now, I tell you that season is closer than you think, not as a sudden accident, but as the result of the entire journey through which I have quietly refined you, through every trial, every season of waiting, and every moment in which you learned how to surrender and trust. The doors that once remained shut will begin to open. The things that once confused you will become clearer. Not because you have finally become strong enough, but because you have learned how to let me become your strength. Remember Joseph. The prison was not the end of his story. It was the preparation for the throne. If he had given up during those forgotten years, he would never have seen the day I raised him up to save an entire nation. You are the same, my beloved child. Seasons of silence are not places where I have forgotten you. They are the places where I am building foundations deep enough for what I am about to do. For when I open a door at the right time, no one can shut it. And when I lead you into a new season, you will understand that every moment of waiting was worth it. So today, keep walking forward. It is all right if you walk slowly. It is all right if you walk trembling. Just do not turn away from me. Let your faith become greater than what your eyes can see. Let your heart rest in the truth that I am with you. And one day, you will look back on this season of silence and realize that the very place where it seemed nothing was happening was the place where heaven was quietly preparing the greatest breakthrough of your life. My beloved child, if this message has touched your heart and reminded you of my unfailing love, I invite you to respond to me today. Share in the comments how my words have strengthened you or what you are believing for in this season. Let your testimony become a light for others who are walking through similar valleys. If this word has brought you peace or renewed your hope, please like this video so more hearts can discover it. And share it with someone who needs encouragement right now, a friend, a family member, or anyone feeling weary in their faith. Your simple act of obedience may be the very whisper I use to draw another beloved child closer to me. Thank you for walking this journey with me. I am with you always. Amen.